In this lecture, I will use all of the tools learnt in previous lectures to create an entire 2D technical drawing from this pulley assembly that we drew in the Creating Assemblies section. So this is a 5-page document, and on the first page we have our assembly model here with the parts list and the corresponding balloons labeled here. On the second page we have the base plate, all dimensioned up, and we've also got a tolerance there, as the width of this base plate differs from the general tolerance. On the third page we have the bracket arms, so 2 of these in total within the assembly. On the fourth page we have the pulley wheel itself. We've also got a cross-sectional view, which is titled AA, so that's referring to the base view here, section AA. And on the fifth page we have the pin, nice and simple drawing for us there. So let's go through step by step and create this entire drawing. First of all, let's open up the assembly itself. And then from here, let's come over to the environments. We'll hit the drop down, go down to drawing, and we'll select from design. In our toolbox here, I want to make sure we're under manual. Keep the contents as full assembly. We will include the fasteners as well. Drawing, create new, template from scratch. I'm going to do an ISO drawing in this case. Units, millimeters, sheet size A3, and I'm going to do this in the landscape orientation for each page. Click OK. Let's start by inputting a base view. So on our first sheet we'll have the full assembly. So for this I want to use an ISO view. So I'm going to change the orientation here. I'm going to do this NE isometric. I think that's the correct view. Yeah, that's the correct view. Just need to bump up that scale. Let's put that, let's try 1.75. I think that's a good size for this sheet. And I'm also going to change the style to shaded as well. Okay, I'm going to place that there, press OK. That's looking nice. Now let's add a parts list. Come up to tables, and I'm just going to hit table. And in terms of type, make sure parts list selected, leave everything else as default. I'll drop that in there. I want to do some edits to this one. Let's double click on this, and we're going to insert the description. That's in the right location. I'm going to change the font of this. Come into document settings, under our font. Let's change this to, let's go for Arial. It's OK. It's looking better. Move this over here slightly. I'm just going to change the size of these columns, so I left click once, I'm going to pull out the material. And then let's drop that into the corner, so I'm going to choose the arrow point here, snap onto the corner. That's looking good. Let's hit T on the keyboard, let's title this view, let's go for ISO view, center that, press close, sure position's okay, and now let's adjust these balloons. Now in order to align these balloons so vertically, we pull out this one for example. If we then pull out the 2 and bring that near to the 1, it will snap to the 1. And then if we bring that up, we can see we've got that alignment there. And I'm going to do the same process for balloon number 3 as well. Okay, something like that there. They're nicely aligned. Let's do the same for the other side and tidy this up. That's looking good, quite happy with that. Let's put in the general tolerances. So in terms of the title block, I'll be using the generic one associated with the ISO standard, but when creating the drawing, feel free to use your own. So I'm going to come over to the sheet settings, hit the drop down, right click on the title block, and I'm going to select edit title block. Let's click OK. Press T on the keyboard, insert a text box like so. Okay, so a linear tolerance plus or minus 0.2 mil, and angular tolerance plus or minus 1.5 degrees. Let's finish the title block there. And we can later apply that to all of the other sheets as well. Double click the middle mouse button. And let's go ahead and create the remaining sheets. So we've got 5 in total, so we're going to add 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's come back to the second sheet, which is our base plate. So you can right click on these and rename them. So I rename this base plate example. I'll do the same for the others as well. Assembly. Let's come under the base view then. So up here, let's click base view. We want this to be the front view. I'm going to bump up that scale. Let's go 0.75. Left click once there and press OK. We only want to be showing the base plate. So let's come over to our browser where we have the pulley wheel assembly here. We want the base plate to be showing, but the bracket, I'm going to select that, hold down shift and select the pin. That will select all of them. right click, suppress those. Same process for the fasteners as well. Left click one of those, hold down shift, left click the last one, right click, suppress, and we're just left with the base plate. Press P on the keyboard, do a projection. Let's project this view, do a top view. Let's go for a side view and an ISO view as well. ISO, let's make that shaded. And for the front view, I feel that it would add value just to clarify that these holes here are through holes. So for this, let's show the hidden dimensions. Press close. Now this side view relates to the base view, but I don't want to show the hidden dimensions there. They don't add much value. So I just go visible edges only. Press close. That's looking good. I'm going to title these views up. And now let's start adding some dimensions. So let's hit D on the keyboard. Let's do the side view first. So this will go with the overall height. Let's go this point here to this point here. Our 10 mil. Let's come over to the side view and start defining these depths of the cutouts. Select this point here and this one. Place that in there. 2. And I'm just going to reposition that. So left click once, hold down on this pointer, drop that there, move the base view slightly. Press D on the keyboard again, and from this height to this height to define this depression. And I'm going to bring this out there. Right click OK, that's good. Double click middle mouse button. On this view here, we want to identify center marks for our holes. Let's double click on them. Under center marks, select hole, click close. Let's press D on the keyboard then and give this a height. So this point here to this point. And this one has a tolerance that differs from the general tolerance. So we'll do that in a second. Also still in the dimension tool, let's give the overall width of this. So this point to this point. And we're going to bring this up here. And then we'll add a few other horizontal dimensions as well. So let's again refer to this point. Let's go to the center point of this hole here, like so. Bring that up there. Just move the mouse 10. Again, this point here to the point of this base. Bring that up. Let's go 30. And this point here to the point of this boss. Bring that up 70, and bring that 100 up as well. Bring that top view down slightly. And let's also add the other details. So in terms of this hole, press D on the keyboard. We'll go center point to the top vertical. Put in that dimension there, 10. We also need to identify these holes here. Now we don't want to apply a dimension here, but rather a note. So hit escape on the keyboard, press N on the keyboard, and then select the hole here and bring that leader out. Left click once. Press OK. We've got our identification here. So 4 holes. Yep, diameter 8 through, simple, no thread. And then let's give this fillet a radius as well. So hit D on the keyboard, select the radius. Fusion will pick up that we want to define a radius here, just judging by a fillet. Looking good. Let's double click the middle mouse button. And then we have our general tolerances down here in our title block, like we added from the first sheet. And now we just need to add in the tolerance specific for the width, in this case 50 mil. Let's double click on that. Let's select tolerance. And we're going to go with a symmetric tolerance of plus or minus, I think it's 1.5, so 0.15, click close. Got that tolerance display there, that's good. And there we have the sheet for the base plate, and feel free again to adjust the title block if you're using the default ISO one. Before we continue, let's make sure that we hit save. And just double check the location. So that's in my project file under, while creating assemblies, which is the location of the pulley wheel itself. Let's click save. And now let's move on to the bracket arms. So we'll select that sheet. Again, let's go base view. And for the front view, I'd like this to be either from the right or the left. And let's go with the right. I'm going to bump that scale up as well, 0.75. Actually, no, let's drop that down to 0.1. I'm going to drop that in there. Press OK. Let's suppress the parts we don't need. So we want to keep the front bracket, which is this one. We'll select the others, right click, suppress. And let's do the same for the fasteners as well. So left click once, hold down shift, left click, right click, suppress. And then let's project some views. Hit P on the keyboard, select this view. Let's do a top view, let's do a side view and an ISO view as well. Might actually change that scale again. Sorry, let's see how it looks on 0.75. I think that's okay. Let's go with that. This in the corner. Let's go for a shaded appearance on that. Click close. And let's also show the hidden lines on this drawing. Show they are through holes. And we can likewise, we can see them on the side view and also for the hole at the top as well. Let's double click this view. Let's have our center marks turned on for the hole features. And the same process for the top view as well. Turn the center marks on, close. That's good. I'm going to title up these views. Okay, let's start on the front view then. Hit D on the keyboard. Let's first of all dimension up this radius here, 15. I'm going to bring that dimension out slightly, left click once, draw that out like so. Hit D on the keyboard. Let's go for the width then. Let's go from this point here to this point. Got our 20 in there. Let's also go for the radii here, so 10. I'm going to bring that out slightly. And then as this is a hole feature, let's hit N on the keyboard, put in a note for this hole here, bring out the leader, right click, diameter 8, and it's a through in this case, or 8 mil, which is the thickness of this body here. Let's move over to the side view. Let's hit D on the keyboard and define the depth. Let's go from this point to this one, drop that dimension in there, and then a few vertical dimensions. So I'm going to dimension this side here, 8. Also the dimension here to the center point of this hole here. Let's go 58. And also this point here to the very top as well, 68. Let's also give the dimension as well for the width of this. So 8 mil, point to point. Looks good. Then let's define an angle here. So let's go from this line to this line. We could define it on the inside there, but it does conflict onto the model itself, and it's generally advised to keep dimensions outside of the part. So I'm going to go with a 120 there. Then we can easily recognize that it's just a 60 degree remaining to make up the 180, giving us this angle here. Double click the middle mouse button. Now let's work on the top view. I'm going to adjust the front and the side view slightly. Okay, give the top view some more space. Hit D on the keyboard then and go for the width. So this point to this point, about 50 mil in there. We've already defined this thickness here as 8 mil, so that's on the drawing there. We just need to go from this point to this point here and define this. So we got our 22 there, and then let's do the holes. So center point, let's also reference this point, 10 mil. And from this point here to the center point, we should have another 10. Let's give this fillet a radius, 8 mil there, and then for the holes, we're going to use note. So press N on the keyboard, select the hole, bring the leader out, 2 holes, both diameter 8, and they're both through, or 8 mil thickness, which is what we've defined down here. Double left click the middle mouse button. And just one more dimension that we need to add is the thickness of the rib. Remove this top view out of the way. Let's move that over here. Hit D on the keyboard, point to point, 6 mil. Put that identification back, somewhere there. Double click the middle mouse button. That's looking good. Quite happy with that. I adjust the base slightly. There we go. Let's hit save. And let's move on now to the fourth page, which is the pulley wheel. It's the same process. Let's do a base view. And I'm going to flip the orientation of the base view to, let's take a look at the left orientation. That's looking good. And again, let's bump that scale up. Try 0.75 again. This should be okay. I'm going to left click once. Okay. And then suppress those parts I don't need. Same process. I'm going to hold down Control. Select the parts we don't want to show. Right click, suppress. And same for the fasteners as well. Hold down Shift, right click, and suppress. Let's now do some projections. Hit P on the keyboard, select the base view. Move up to the top. Let's get a top view in there. Let's also get an ISO view in there as well. Green tick. Let's add the cross section as well. Come into the section view. First of all, select the base view as being our parent view. In terms of points, I want to select the very top quadrant and the very lower one here. Okay, I'm going to right click, continue. Let's put that view just to the side here. Okay. And I'm just going to move these arrowheads. I don't like them so much conflicting with the part itself. So hold down on this pointer here. Same process for the lower one. Looking nice. Move that. Let's take this ISO view in the corner. Let's put that on shaded. Close. Double click on our base view as well. And let's get these center marks in on all of these holes here. Select that hole. Okay, we have our center marks there. That's good. Let's also put in a center line to define this hole here. So I'm going to use the center line tool under geometry. I'm going to select my first edge here, second edge here. Looks good. Got to label these views up. Press T on the keyboard. And for the cross-section view, that's already labeled up as section AA. And now we can go ahead and start adding some dimensions. Let's do the top view first, fairly straightforward. So D on the keyboard then. Want to come to the center point of this arc here. Okay, so indicating that groove moving around the pulley. Select this point here, so we know where to sketch that. And then an overall height as well, it should be 30. Okay, we'll do an outer diameter, so 60. And then let's radius this arc here. So as we select this using the dimension tool, Fusion will be using the diameter dimension. However, we want to be using the radius. So as in a case like this, we'll go into the dimensions, select the radius dimension, and we'll just select that radius there, put in the radius one, double click middle mouse button. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and define the pitch circle diameter for these holes here. So to do this, come under geometry, select the center mark pattern, and we'll select this circle and this one. Okay, happy with that, leave everything as default, press OK. Actually, let's double click on that, and let's also add the center mark as well. This is a through hole here, press OK. And now let's dimension this up. Let's hit D on the keyboard, give the PCD a dimension, so 41. And these holes here, let's hit N on the keyboard. I did these using the hole command. Let's select that edge there, bring that leader out. Okay, so 6 holes in total, 3 mm diameter. And they're all through, as we can see in the cross-sectional view here. Let's also add the center lines there whilst we're at it. Center line, these two, same process, these two. And finally, let's dimension the section view. So D on the keyboard. We'll start from the center line of the through hole, and we're going to use a series of dimensions working our way up. Okay, so dimension there, so center line through hole, center line for these holes as well. And the last 2 dimensions will be these guys. So we've got 27, it should be 30. Okay, that looks good. And there we have our completed pulley. And last but certainly not least, we have the pin drawing. So let's come down to our 5th sheet, we'll select that. Let's go ahead and add a base view. And for the base view, I'm going to leave the orientation as front. Put that scale up, let's try 0.75. Yeah, that should be fine, let's click OK. And again, let's suppress the parts we don't need. So base plate, the brackets, rotary, right click, suppress. Same process, fasteners, click once, hold down shift, click again, right click, suppress. Just have the pin. Let's do a side view of that, hit P on the keyboard, select the base view, do a side view. Also go for a projected ISO view as well, green tick. I'm going to bump that scale up actually, let's go for 0.5, that's good. Double click on this one, make it shaded. Pull these guys down. I'm going to label these views up. And now let's add some dimensions. Hit D on the keyboard. I'm going to use this point here as a reference point. Select that point there. Let's go here first. Do this point to this one. Let's also add the thickness of this shaft as well. So this point to this point. And that's for the diameter of this body and also the diameter of the end of the pin. We can do that on the side view. Hit D on the keyboard then. So this one here is this body here. So diameter 20. And this one here is the end of the pin. So diameter 14. And there we have the technical drawing of the pin. Okay, and lastly, let's export this as a PDF. So let's come up to the top where our tools are. Let's go and export and select export PDF. In terms of sheets, make sure we have all sheets selected. Let's open the PDF as well and keep the line weights turned on. It's okay. And we could save this either into the cloud or on the computer. I'm going to save this locally on my PC. Click save. And there we have the full PDF. So this is our assembly page. We've got our base plate, side brackets, pulley wheel, and the pin. So as a quick effort, I'm quite happy with that. There are a few things we could do, maybe to tidy this up a bit, but all of the essential information is there. I hope that lecture was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.